This exercise is an adapted, personalized visualization meditation exercise, and really you can personalize it yourself also in any way that you would like. I learned a little bit about meditation and trained in a little bit of Reiki before I did training as a therapist, and it particularly helped me with feelings of panic and anxiety that I was experiencing at the time. There's this aspect where people start to think about like the philosophy of Reiki or different things, or what is this energy and where does it come from type of ideas. And really what I'm thinking about when I'm doing this exercise is that it's more of a visualization exercise that you can personalize to your own beliefs or ideas or religion or whatever it is that you decide, really. So the idea is just adapt it and personalize it yourself, and so I do that myself as well, and personalize the meditation and visualization based on some thoughts and ideas that I have as well. So it starts with really sitting comfortably somewhere, wherever you might be, and putting both your feet on the ground and just taking a couple of deep, slow breaths. You might want to shut your eyes and just gently rest maybe your hands on your knees or something like that. You could even, if you wanted, do this lying down if you wanted. Sometimes I will do this exercise when I'm sat in the sauna or lying in the sauna. I might do it, I have done it in the past, sat on the bus, or I have done it on the train before. Sat in the garden, I've done it as well. So it's quite adaptable, and you can use it in a few different situations, whichever you choose, really. The first step of it is to really request help from, be it that you believe in a god of different religions, or be it that you just want to ask for general energy or life force, and you can really change and adapt this to whatever you believe in your beliefs and such like. It might be that someone would ask for help from their particular god. It might be that they just ask for energy from the universe, or like a universal life source. Sometimes it might be just thinking about relatives that have passed away that you found supportive, or even the whole of humanity and its kind of whole complete of humanity, and thinking about connecting to everyone on the planet, and thinking about that kind of universal life force kind of idea. One exercise some people do is hugging trees and thinking about the roots of the trees, thinking about how long it's been there, and also I guess this idea that the roots are interconnected with each other of the trees that are all in the field or forest together, and often they're sharing minerals and interconnected in the ground, and so the idea of interconnectedness. Next, it's visualizing and thinking about a column of energy traveling from the distant universe, and that could be a white energy, blue energy, it could be a rainbow of colours, different coloured energies coming from the distant universe towards Earth and towards the moon. It's just noticing that column of energy and how light and enriching that energy is, and it travelling towards the moon. Next, it's noticing the column of energy bouncing off the moon and then travelling down to the Earth, and that kind of like a kind of deflection off the moon down to Earth, travelling in a column down to where you are sat or stood or lying down, and it coming directly down onto you like a spotlight onto the top of your head. And that full column of energy and light and healing and feelings and help coming directly down onto the top of your head. Within Reiki guided type meditations and healing meditations, they would be talking about using visualization of a symbol in certain areas, but I don't tend to do that very much. I tend to really focus on this idea of a column of light, and thinking about what that would look like and feel like coming down from the universe. There's also this aspect within the Reiki practice where there's this idea that the energy comes through you and in, out your hands and into certain areas. Sometimes I'll think about that, other times I won't think about that. I'll just think about this column of energy coming from the universe, and it's up to you really what you decide to do, and you can adapt this kind of meditation as you see fit. Sometimes thoughts might jump in, and if they do, then it's just refocusing on thinking about that column of energy coming down from the universe, from as far away in the galaxy as you can imagine, bouncing off the moon and then coming down in like a spotlight onto the top of your head and infusing your body with energy and light and healing. So next, I would run through what's seen as chakra points in the body in Reiki. So this would start with kind of chakra crown, which is at the top of your head area and your kind of third eye. So that's kind of like a purpley colour and like a kind of dark turquoisey blue mixed together. So kind of like a purple colour. And when I'm thinking about that, what I'm visualising, and this is kind of taken from the kind of Reiki training, but also you can adapt this as you see fit, is I visualise a kind of river of water pouring into my head, but in a kind of gentle way. And I think about like a mountain spring and it filling up that kind of chakra point with a kind of purple and kind of light turquoisey type of water, and just kind of filling up that area in my head, that kind of third eye and that top of my head area. And I just let that run until it feels like it might have filled up enough and cleaned enough there. And I just imagine that water pouring in and kind of refreshing and rehydrating all of that area. Then I would move down to the throat chakra, and I'd just be thinking about that light, that kind of water and that light turning into kind of turquoisey blue colour. And I'd just think again of this kind of mountain spring and the kind of mountain spring pouring the water and washing that whole area around the throat, kind of filling it up as much as it needs to be, kind of like, potentially like a desert, receiving rainfall, and it kind of just saturating that area as much as it needs to. And really you can stop or continue to fill up that area as much as you feel the need. Next, when you feel that that's completely filled up, it's visualizing the heart chakra. And so for that, I would tend to think about filling that area up around your heart with green grass cuttings. So I tend to think of fresh, deep, lush green grass cuttings, and I kind of visualize filling up that area and kind of nourishing myself in a sense like some kind of sheep or cow might eat grass, but also that kind of softness of the fresh cut grass, and also the smells of the fresh cut grass and how that's quite nice. And you could change that to anything you feel that's green, and generally it's kind of about filling that up and feeling like that's had sufficient energy put there. And periodically I would think back to this idea that the energy is coming from as far away in the universe in this column of light to the moon, bouncing off there and connecting to the top of my head and turning into different colours, or turning into like a water, or like the grass, for example. So I might even, when I'm thinking about the grass, I might think about that green grass in the morning with the morning dew on it. I might think about that being the kind of grass that I like to fill up heart chakra with. The next chakra point is the yellow chakra point in the kind of solar plexus area, and I'd be thinking about kind of like rays of sunshine going in there. And so it's just taking a breath for yourself as and when you need to feel more relaxed, and taking those nice breaths and focusing your attention, if thoughts jump in, back to the visualization exercise. So that's kind of thinking about the different colour of the water or the column of light, and just noticing this kind of, I imagine it as like a ray of sunshine coming through the clouds. So that would be like a nice bright ray of sunshine coming through the clouds after it's rained, for example, and that kind of hitting your solar plexus area and just filling that area up. Next, it's moving on to kind of orange kind of chakra point, and it's kind of the kind of sacral area. And with this, which is kind of like your stomach typey kind of area, and just kind of a little bit up from that, it's what I tend to think of for that area is the idea of kind of a little bit like a washing machine happening in your stomach and that kind of area, but with a kind of orange water going into the washing machine. So I kind of think of the idea that there's all this nice orange water sloshing around, and it's kind of filling up that area, but also kind of washing it at the same time. And so I visualize this happening in that area, in that stomach area, and this kind of orange, clean orange, nice water kind of washing and kind of cleaning that area of your body, and just kind of continue with that as long as you would like to, really. And just taking a breath. The next part is the root chakra, which is the red kind of colour. And similarly, again, I'll kind of think about that idea of kind of like a washing machine. So like looking at the front of the washing machine where the little glass window or whatnot is, and the water inside, so there's no clothes in there in my mind when I'm thinking about this, it's more just a big amount of water, but like a light red colour. And the idea that I kind of think of that being like my stomach, and that this all kind of is cleaning, this water is cleaning that area and kind of hydrating it all and making it feel better, and just really saturating the area, and just noticing when you feel like you're ready to move on from that area, and just taking your time and doing it as and when you want to. The next part of this exercise is connected to the idea of grounding, and sometimes I'll do this in different ways. So I will kind of think about the idea that this energy or this kind of water now turns into either electricity that shoots down my legs and into the ground, and I'll kind of visualize the idea that this goes through all my veins in my legs, through my knees, through my calf muscles, and through the bottom of my feet into the ground, and then kind of really connects to the ground. Alternately, sometimes I'll think about it being that this kind of energy moves down my legs, through my knees, into my feet, and then I'll think about it turning into like tree roots, and how those tree roots then grow into the ground, into the soil. Or if I'm sat on wherever I'm sat, or if I'm lying down, I'll visualize that those roots growing out the bottom of my feet into the soil, and really connecting to the earth, but also like kind of sucking up this kind of energy from the ground and connecting to this kind of universal energy and electrical currents that might be in the ground, say from the trees or the plants, or even some kind of bacterias and things like that. Just think about all that nutrition that plants would take from the soil, and then I kind of start to think about that benefiting me, and me being a little bit like a plant or a tree and soaking up those nutrients from the earth. When you felt like you've done that enough and you're ready to move on from that, then it's really about reversing that process within the visualization and just bringing your attention and your visualization up from the ground. So it's starting to bring that up your body again, that column of light and that energy, and just bringing it back to your stomach area and then up to your solar plexus. And you can change the colours as you see fit, thinking about different chakra points and colours if you wish, and then bringing that up to your kind of neck area and your arms, and just taking a breath as and when you need to or want to. And then when you're ready, bringing that attention up to the top of your head, and then imagining that column of light hitting the top of your head as it's been all along, and then just thinking about disconnecting from that energy source. So it might be that you think about kind of putting your hand, through that kind of column of light, visualize the idea of putting your hand through it, or kind of, in a sense, kind of cutting off from that energy source, and just then sitting for a moment and just noticing how you feel. It might be that you tap this and think about saying thank you for that, which I tend to do. I say thank you for the energy and that kind of healing and that kind of moment I've given myself, and just thanking yourself really as well, and just saying, well, thanks for doing that, it's a good job that we did that and I feel better a bit now. So maybe that's something that I'd like to do again. I want to or need to. So yeah, and I guess it's just bringing yourself out of that a little bit and orientating yourself to where you are, just noticing things that you can see and smell and hear and touch, and maybe having a little drink of water or something like that, and just really giving yourself a minute to bring yourself out of that, and then carry on with your day. I hope you enjoyed this visualization exercise, and I would like to reiterate the idea that you can change different aspects of this visualization exercise as you see fit. So it's really a guide or an idea about how you might visualize, and really it's up to you what you decide to do. And I think that's a key factor in why I like this visualization exercise, is because I might do it differently every time I do it a little bit, but I'll generally feel the same, get the same benefit at the end, just through following the kind of rough guide of how to do it and taking that time out for myself to ground and focusing my attention where I would like it to be. It's just noticing when thoughts jump in as well. That's common for that to happen, and that's okay. And it's just going, that's okay, noticing the thought, letting it come in, but then refocusing your attention back to the visualization exercise and doing what you would like to do. If you would like to learn about different exercises that might be helpful for you, you can look through some of the other videos, and I also intend to make more of this type of material moving forward, so you could subscribe to the channel just to get a notification when they're issued. Thank you.